So, who inspired you, and who were your influences?
A lot of people in my family play music, so that's kind of where I saw it first. You know, my grandparents play. My grandpa plays guitar, and my other grandpa plays the spoons, which is kind of like a percussion. But I have uncles that play and cousins that play and so many people that play and listen to the style of music that I do that it's always been around. Even if I wasn't open to it and didn't see it, it was there. And then that's when I started to get into the music that my dad listened to. My dad really put me into the heavy metal world, the music. I'd be getting into like Warrant and Rat, and then showing him these bands, thinking that he's never seen them, but 80s music. And that's when I started to get into the deeper music, more heavy, Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, CKY, and Rob Zombie. Or, it's not just music, it's more about a stage show. They like theater.
What was it about Rob Zombie that you liked?
Rob Zombie's old movies, brings the old movies back, puts that in his show, whereas Marilyn Manson does the whole serial killer thing.
I know a lot of bands do high vocals and low vocals, and I noticed you did too. Did you choose that, or who inspired you to?
Mitch Lucker.
Mitch Lucker.
From Suicide Silence, he's a big influence because he can. That was where I heard high vocals with low vocals, where you're hearing both in the same song. Where he could go up really high, but then as soon as he's done, he could go really low right after that. And there'd be no breaking in his voice, no cracking. I've always been inspired by serial killers a little bit. Just something about them. It's just the fact that they're part of reality. That it's not like a horror movie where it's not fake. They're real. If you read about the real ones, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that was a big. I really connected with that. Just the fact that it's this family trying to survive, and they eat people, and if you were struggling to survive and you ate people, you could survive off that. It's just that scary. I use that in my lyrics. I use a lot of horror movie stuff in my lyrics. It's just that they connect real well.
I'd like to talk about what's the scene of Saginaw like?
Well, when I was growing up, I didn't really know the scene of Saginaw. I didn't know that it was a bad neighborhood. I know now, obviously, but I guess in some people's eyes it never changed. In some people's eyes it got worse. In some people's eyes it got better. In my eyes, I can't really tell you. I don't know how it was back then. If it was better, if it wasn't. Pretty much if you go outside, you better be looking behind you. You could get jumped anytime. You don't know. best thing to do really is to stay inside. And that's what people do. People that I know, they stay inside and smoke weed and play video games and make music and call us stoners or whatever, but I think we're a lot better off than the people who are on the street. We ain't got to worry about waking up dead the next day. You don't even wake up dead the next day. But pretty much, yeah, I stayed inside a lot, and that's kind of where I found music, I guess, just by staying inside and not wanting to go out in the hood. Just try to avoid being out there. Yeah.
What would you say is an average day for you?
An average day for me is probably, well, I wake up. If I got to work that day, go to work until probably 2. And then pretty much when I get home, I'll either jump to the guitar or the keyboard just to quick grab something, just to grab something and see if the first thing that you play is something magic. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. Pretty much that's an average day for me. Is if I have to work that day, I'll work, I'll get out of work, and I'll try to make a song. And if I don't have to work, then as soon as I do get up, get a quick buzz going, and come down and see what I can come up with. I always like to try to make a song a day, even if it's just like a riff or a drum track or a keyboard part or something. Pretty much it works out. You can get a lot of good songs out of that. A lot of good riffs just by me coming up with something in the spot. Sometimes you don't get good stuff.
I just want to ask, what drew you to the music industry?
I think what drew me to the metal community like I said, always been around in my life. All my family members listen to it. It's always been there. I think the aggression, when I play it, even if I'm like, for an example, like if I'm sober and I was to play and I was to jam out or whatever, I would feel really good, like I was stoned. So that pulled me in, just how good it felt, and that I could do it, because I never took lessons. So it was kind of like it was easy to play music, so therefore I felt like that was my, that's what I was supposed to do. I mean, if you're good at drawing, you're an artist. I was good at playing the guitar with no lessons, and singing. I'm not really singing. Singing, I had to build it up to sing, but playing the guitar took real easy. Playing the drums took real easy. It was real easy. Took her to it real quick. I think more or less the aggression, just rocking out, just letting that aggression go. And I guess what really pulled me in.
I'd like to talk about the early days and your original members and how you guys broke up.
Well, the first band that we ever started, or I ever was in, was Driven of the Forgotten, DOTF, which was me and 3 of my cousins. We're basically this band that we formed because we played Rock Band, the video game Rock Band, and we had a band out of that, and we took it further with real instruments. And it was me, Widget Kollinz, and then whereas the guitar, I was the drummer, and then we had the guitar player, Austin. It was Austin Kollinz, and then we had his stepbrother, my cousin Jeffrey, who was CJ Tang, because we used to call him Cornhole Jack. So that's where the CJ came from. It was Cornhole Jack. And then Tang came from because he used to get a lot of chicks. So we used to call him the Poon Tang. But then we shortened that to Tang, and we put CJ Tang, Cornhole Jack Tang. Just a quick name, CJ Tang. Sounded cool. Still does. And then Trent, our singer, he was T-Rent. T-Rent. And he just took his name Trent, put T-Rent. That was his singing name. Pretty much with that lineup, we did 4 CDs where Trent didn't even really sing on any of them, but he was part of the band, I guess, for them 4 CDs, but he didn't do anything. He eventually left when we got to the 5th CD. But within those 4 CDs, we managed to make, me, Austin, and Jeffrey managed to make some instrumental type things that we could listen, and it sounded like we were going on the right path to making songs, not recording sound-wise, that sounded like shit, but the fact that we were on time and we were staying with each other, it really had some light bulbs go off where this was working. Then Trent finally left, and Jeffrey finally kind of left maybe a couple months after that. After that, it was just me and Austin, but we didn't continue the band. We kind of stopped it there for a while. It was kind of on hiatus until I started working on the 6th album, which would kind of really be the first, but it was the 6th in the history. And that one was called Hell. I called it Hell because in the previous lineup I was the drummer, so I didn't really write the songs. I kind of just played the beat, behind what they had made. So the reason why it was called Hell is because on that album I wrote the lyrics and I wrote the guitars. It was basically it's an acoustic album, but it was hell writing those songs because I never wrote songs before. I was a drummer. I was a beat maker, not a chord and singing. The way that I recorded that, I had to play both and sing at the same time. I couldn't do individual tracks. It really helped because I would fuck up many times. And it really helped me. It made me want to be a vocalist because I stopped wanting to be a drummer. Drumming's cool, but it didn't pull me like it did when I was, younger, I guess.
I'm gonna go in and jump in about Dave motherfucking, your cousin. When did you start recording him?
When I did make the 7th album, which would be the second, a little weird, but the 7th album, which is this, which is why I got it tattooed, because it's got a deep meaning. That was, like I say, the 7th album, but it kind of was the second real one to me. You know, that, not saying that the first 4 aren't real, but recording wise, and you know, the first albums were just instrumentals. There was no words, you know, like on the Alien. And that's when my little cousin Dave MUTHAFUKN moved to the house, and he stayed with me for a little bit because his family life was on problems. So he stayed with us for a little bit, and then he likes rap. So I was like thinking maybe I should, you know, push him a little bit, you know, into rapping. And because I would hear him sing with songs that he would, you know, that he liked, and he would sing along with it, and I was like, man, if he was to just do some songs, it would sound good. So I kind of, you know, produced him, you know. I was like, man, you should really, you want a producer on him, I guess. I was like, you should really put some songs down, and we should really record something of you singing. He finally, scared at first, he finally warmed up to the idea. And then those songs, they're so somewhat similar in the vocals of what he says, but with his flow in each song, it's different, and it's powerful. You know, it's like he didn't know at that time that he was gonna make some good songs later in years, but when I still listen to those songs, it's powerful. I'm just like, wow. Because I remember recording those. I remember doing that, and how we recorded that, where the mic was so far away from the speakers, and how he had to get up real close to that microphone we were using, and it just, we couldn't record it on separate tracks to really level it. You know, we had to do it all on one track. And when you do songs just on one mic, and you get every instrument kind of, and you have to record it all on one track like that, if you can make it work, it's powerful when you hear it. Because in the moment, you're thinking it's going to not work, it's going to be terrible, but then you listen to it, and it's like, wow. You know, when I first listened to the Alien CD from front to back, you know, I listened to the whole thing, and it was crazy. It gave me goosebumps just because of how good that album sounded. It's that kind of, imagine being lost, you know, somewhere. That's how we felt. And then we made this album, and it kind of showed us the yellow brick road, so to speak. You know, it showed us how to get to the ending. It showed us that there was a road we could take, and we weren't stranded, because music really helped us. Maybe not so much for Dave, but for me, you know, mentally, it helps.
What's your creating process like for writing these songs? How do you do it?
Well, my creating process mostly consists typically of how heavy metal songs start. It's about a riff. It's mostly just about around the riff. You know, you come up with a riff. The riff is basically the song. You know, a lot of times the riff is the song. You know, you make a riff and then it'll lead you to a bridge or a verse, or if you make the chorus riff first, that can lead you to a verse riff, or if you make the verse riff, it can lead you to the chorus or a bridge. You know, like the riff comes first, and a lot of times if I make the song, you know, I'll write the whole song guitar wise first. I'll get the whole song done kind of acoustically, and then I'll write the lyrics. Well, this is my process for when I make a song. So I'll create a riff, I'll create the song guitar wise, and then I will write the lyrics, and then if I want to go through and program the drums, I will go through and program the drums. But sometimes I will just get like a drum track that fits in good, that'll fit, you know, the riff really good. So I don't even need to program them in it. The changes that these drum tracks do, it helps. So yeah, I'll do the guitar and then vocals, put the drums in last. I'm different. I'm a different style of how when I record my stuff, it's weird. But when Austin, my guitar player Austin, when he makes songs, he'll do it typical. He'll do the drums he'll program the drums first, then he'll put guitars over that, and then he'll basically get the instrumental ready, and then he'll send me the instrumental, and I will listen to the instrumental about 5 times, maybe 5 or 6 times, just to try to get it in my head of where the changes are. And then I will write little dots. Like, I'll figure out how to say a line that I'm gonna say. You know, I'll hum through a little bit, and that could be a line. So then each one of those phrases will be a dot. So like I'll put a dot for one of those rhythms, and then I know there's another spot where I have to say it, so that's another dot. And if I know that maybe 10 bands will fit in there, that will be 10 dots, and those will be 10 lines. And I know, you know, you just have to make those bands or whatever match the words that you're saying. And if you put 10 dots, you got to make sure there's 10 lines, and then it should match up to the change that's coming, whatever it is, if it's verse, chorus, whatever. As long as you get your dots and you know how many lines you have to say. That's how I do Austin's songs. That's how we pretty much write. I sit at home by myself, and I will feel the instrumental. If it sounds sad, then I'll write something sad, and I'll bring out my sad stuff, feelings. If it sounds mean, then I'll get pretty mean with it. If it sounds happy, which a lot of shit that we make doesn't really do, and I'd make them happy. But that's the reason why I listen to the instrumental about 5 or 6 times, maybe less, if I can feel the emotion a lot quicker. A lot of times about 4 or 5 times. I can really feel the emotion of where I want to go with this song.
Do you put hidden messages in your music?
Yes and no. Some songs have deep meanings, but the meaning isn't, you know, right out in your face. Some songs are fucking stupid. Some songs are funny. Some songs are sad. Some songs are mean. You know, it's just whatever, you know, whatever we make, you know, whatever riff or whatever instrumental that we come up with before lyrics are done. The emotion will tell us, like I said, where to go, and if you can find a spot in the song that a hidden message can go to, where you can say something deep and it won't be. If I like to be deep with my with hidden messages, I don't like them to really be in your face, which is the point of a hidden message. It's not supposed to be in your face, but I feel like a lot of people put hidden messages in their songs, but they're not hidden. They're in your, they're right in your face. But a lot of my songs that are deep and meaningful, a lot of people would say you're like, why did you make that song? It's just a bunch of gibberish. Well, no, it's not. It's the fact that you don't understand what I'm saying, and I don't really want to be right in your face about what I'm saying, because I don't. I want to get my emotions out, so that way it helps me release, tension, stress. But I don't like to be all in your face about it. I don't. Like if I was to write a song about, like, in a breakup, I wouldn't say, she dumped me and now I'm single. That's straight right in your face. I would say, man, this really sucks, this pain that I'm feeling. And I know that there's nothing that's going to fix the pain that is still trying to be healed. Even though that right there, that's kind of a hidden message, but now just kind of freestyling that, it doesn't sound like it's really hidden. It does sound like it's in your face a little bit of a breakup, with pain, and you're dealing with it and you're healing. Just depends on how I'm feeling, because if I want to put a hidden message in, because a lot of my, like I say, a lot of my songs are not really in your face, so almost all my songs have hidden messages.
Do you like to collab with people? And what's that process like?
I always like to collaborate with other people. It's just, I have a hard time trying to find people that want to collaborate and are not shy. A lot of people, kind of like, for an example, going back to my cousin Dave, in the beginning he was shy. He didn't want to, kind of like, in Straight Outta Compton, when, he had that Easy-E complex where he was saying, no, I can't do it, even though we know Easy-E is fucking a genius at the mic, but if you watch, he was saying, I can't do it, and that was like Dave, he was like, I can't do it. And then Dr. Dre pushed Easy-E on the mic. He was like, come on, do it. And that's what I kind of did for Dave. I was like, come on, just get on the mic and do it, and just, if it sounds like shit, we'll delete it. And he got on the mic, and he liked, what he heard. So yeah, I'll collaborate with anybody. They just need to actually want to collaborate and actually not, talk smack, when you're not in the studio, and be like, yeah, when we get in the studio, I'll record, and then you get them in there, and they're like, well, I can't do it, man. I'll freeze up. I don't know what to say, and it's like, you want to collaborate, let me know. But if you don't want to collaborate, then why say you want to collaborate? You know, that's my big struggle, is trying to find people who want to collaborate and people who can keep up. You know, a lot of times, you know, somebody will see you play that can't keep up with you, you know, and to go to their level could be boring. It could, you know, maybe you can't even keep up slowly because you're used to going fast, you know. You know, sometimes you do play with somebody who is slow like that, and you know, you can't really, you know, be mean just because they haven't achieved, you know, to where you're at yet. You know what I mean? But I would say that's an even bigger struggle, is wanting to collaborate with somebody, but then you find somebody who wants to collaborate, but they are, you know, they can't keep up, or they can't keep time, you know. But if they're confident into the guitar or into the drums or whatever that they want to play, and even if they can't play it, but they still have that confidence, you know, eventually they'll get there.
What is your favorite and least favorite part about making music?
My favorite part is probably the creating process of the music itself, you know, whether it be just me making the whole song by myself, or writing lyrics for something Austin made, or coming up with something with the whole band, you know. That's probably my favorite part, and the recording process. So coming up with stuff in the jam sessions, and then actually recording stuff in the recording process is probably my favorite part. Least favorite. It's probably the same. It's coming up with the guitar parts, or coming up with the songs and the recording, because sometimes, you know, coming up with the songs can be easy, but then sometimes it can't. You know, sometimes you can, you know, just kind of whittle through something, and you hear something, but you don't know what you did, you know, and then you have to go back and try to figure it out, and sometimes you can't, and that's why it can be the least favorite. Sometimes you'll lose a riff that you can't figure out what you did if you play fast enough, and you're just like, whoa, what'd I do? And you can't remember. You know, that's the least favorite. Recording is also on the least favorite, because it's on the favorite too, yes, because it's fun, but the least favorite is if, you know, stuff gets deleted by accident and you can't retrace it. You know, that's just common sense to make it, recording, your least favorite. But I mean, everything's got its pros and cons, its ups and downs, it's yin and yang.
What advice would you give someone in your footsteps?
My advice to give somebody in my footsteps. Ooh. Keep writing songs, even if you're by yourself. You know, because you'll eventually have something to bring to the table. You know, if you keep writing songs and you're by yourself, and let's say you make 30 songs just by you in the months or whatever year by yourself, when you do finally find a band, you know, you will have 30 songs to bring to the table. And some band members will appreciate that. Some band members look at it like an insult, you know, but the way I look at it is it's like when you have a band and you're going to a jam session type of thing. It's kind of like you're going to dinner. You're having a big family dinner. You know, if the whole band, everybody at the dinner spends all their time working on just one song, let's say like a side, like, mashed potatoes. If the whole band spends all that time just working on mashed potatoes, that's all you're gonna have for dinner. You know what I mean? So if everybody brings their own song, like a riff or a demo or something, that's like bringing a side to the dinner. And then pretty soon you got this big fucking smorgasbord because everybody brought something instead of everybody working on one thing. Yeah. So my advice is to keep writing songs, try to get in a band, try to, if you're closed-minded, when you form a band, try to be a little open-minded. Because, somebody's idea to you might not seem cool, but to the fans could be TNT.
Alright, well, I think that's all the time we got.
Good.
We're good.